Tell me, we helped in the creation, India helped in the creation of Bangladesh. After that, did we kind of just abandon them after that? Did we just like, we're done with you, we've created, we've helped you in the creation, but this war crimes thing, handle it on your own? Was that our attitude?
I think it's far more complex. One, let's be very, very clear. India's foreign policy failures are too many to recount. India's foreign policy, particularly in the neighborhood, has been abysmal. Our whole orientation tends again to be Western. You know, we want all our limited diplomatic resources are overwhelmingly concentrated in the West. So we did not have very much of what you would call effective management over here. Two, there is a conundrum, there is a dilemma. Too active a role in post-independence Bangladesh would immediately make a lot of people within Bangladesh say that India is behaving like an occupying power, or is trying to be the hegemon, or is trying to subsume the Bangladeshi identity and sovereignty within some inchoate, Indian dominance.
Did the political parties then, did they give those feelers to India that stay away?
Yes. Dissonant voices were always there. Even Mujibur, with all his gratitude to India, was also, was a sort of, please, hands off, let us do it ourselves. More importantly, I think, nobody thought that you could say the Bangladeshi spring would be so short. 71, you have independence, 75, Mujibur is gone. And what the powers that come in after that are all ambivalent powers. They are powers who seek once again to harness the same Islamist, extremist kind of forces, the same politics that was the army mullah combine, which was dominating the politics of Pakistan, is restored after 1975 in Bangladesh. And very soon, India is actively being pushed out. The only friend India has ever had in Bangladesh has been the Awami League, who are the only people, the Mukti Bahini people, the Awami League people, who have a memory, a hard, you could say, institutional memory of what was actually done in 1971 and the role that India played. Everybody else is,
There are many who say that, India shouldn't put all its eggs in one basket, not just stay with one political party. We've always done that, We've always been with Sheikh Hasina.
You need to understand what choices we have and can have. It would be wonderful if we could, be friends with everybody. But I don't think it is very likely that the Jamaat-e-Islami and the BNP are waiting for India to make, they would rather make friends with Pakistan. And in the polarized politics of this region, it is a stark choice. It is the one or the other. We would love to make friends with all the people who are blowing things up in India as well, but they don't want to make friends with us. So let's make it very clear. It's not a question of putting all your eggs in one basket. It's a question of discovering or determining who your friendly constituency is and developing relationships there. I don't think India has ever said that a BNP government is not acceptable to us. While the BNP was in power, I think continuous efforts were made even during that phase to improve trade relations, to improve relations on a number of other things, but nothing made any headway because Bangladesh was at that point of time being used as an active launch for terrorism against India. Across India's northeast, every single terrorist organization operating in India's northeast had safe haven in Bangladesh. Progressively, you saw more and more Islamist terrorist attacks occurring on Indian soil, in some sense having a Bangladeshi footprint. The Harkatul Jihad Islami Bangladesh was actively involved. A lot of Pakistani groups were transiting through, were being facilitated to operate through Bangladesh. So in these circumstances, to make this as some kind of a choice that India makes, to be friends only with one party, is not a correct representation of what the real options available. The option of friendship with the BNP Jamaat-e-Islami combine is limited by their own ideological bent and their own preferences.
In conclusion, what I'd like to ask is that the war crimes trial, if it concludes before the elections that are going to be held there, is it going to rake up too many raw wounds, and is it going to cause too much of tumult in in Bangladeshi society? Will it be able to contain itself within its democratic, boundaries out there?
I don't think the war crimes trials, if concluded, will be defining in terms of what will happen to Bangladeshi democracy. Bangladeshi democracy has always been extremely fragile, extremely tentative. I mean, there's been recurrent army rule or proxy army rule. Even the interim government, the so-called caretaker government, the last caretaker government, was again a military-dominated exercise which extended its own tenure. Fortunately, they went back to the barracks, which is a wonderful thing. But let's understand one thing very clearly. This tension is constant. To say that the war crimes trials would exacerbate this tension, so let's do away with the war crimes trials, doesn't really give you a fair understanding of what the actual situation is. These tensions are going to come to a head before the elections anyway, war crime trial or no war crimes trial. If you have the top of the Jamaat-e-Islami and some people of the top leadership of the BNP in jail today, it is not the case that the JEI and BNP are a more disruptive and dangerous force in the streets. They are as dangerous a force in the streets with these people out, number one, and they would be as dangerous a force in the field, in the streets, even if these war crimes trials had never been set up. They see themselves, the politics of Bangladesh is completely polarized. The war crimes trials are doing nothing to deepen or widen this polarization. It is already completely polarized. So any instability, violence, disruption that occurs will occur whether or not the war crimes trials are in place.
Thank you very much for speaking to us.
You're very welcome.